Evening everybody. I bet you can't guess what this is. It's the beautiful Concorde. Meccano, in this case, Marks and Spencer's version. I don't know if there was any versions that weren't Marks and Spencer's. To be honest, I haven't seen too many in the sets. I've seen plenty built by many people, but not seen any actual sets apart from the one that this came in. It was an eBay buy, which of course is probably the most popular way of getting things these days, second hand. And it was certainly one of those sets that somebody had opened a few bags and then got fed up of building it. Overall, not a bad build. The initial fuselage, that's the cylinder sections, comes together very well and quite quickly. The rest starts to get a bit time consuming, I suppose. It does slow you down a little bit, especially the nose cone and the rear tail, trying to get those in position, but more on that later. So Meccano Concorde then, Marks and Spencer's edition, as I've said, from 2004 this one. What I did find with it was, because of this age of set, it didn't have the spanner with the box end at one end, and dare I say it, even the latest spanner would have been of use because of its extra length. That said, the cylinder sections did come together well. They can be quite awkward, as I found out when I was trying to make a trophy early this year. The Newcomen trophy for the steam drag racing at Meccano this year. That was quite awkward. It was easy to start to crush the cylinders or flatten them out, depending which holes the bolts were in, if you tightened them too much. And of course, if you didn't tighten them enough, they start to come loose. Found a way around that to help by using the small rubber grommets between the underside of the cylinder and the nut, and that in itself helps to form a curve inside the cylinder. But anyway, that's somewhat else for another day really. Because of the limitations of the type of spanner with this, which was the bog standard cranked end, open end, both ends spanner of days of, well, the beginning really, I suppose. Although there was box spanners, or they call them box spanners, not really box spanners, I suppose. That was a bit frustrating at times to use, because you hadn't got the reach, or you couldn't get the spanner fully on, so you had to use it end on through the slots which are underneath and out of the view here. One thing with this set that's different from all the sets that I've known myself was concerning the flexible strips, which you can see here and then on the other side, of course, there. When you come to build the model, it doesn't show you the flexible symbol in the instructions to denote which strip is which, because there are some same sized ordinary strips. Somebody pointed it out to me actually while I was building this. They had noticed the picture on the box, which was very useful. I thought, aha, there we are, the light bulb moment. But of course, everything I've made modern sets, and some of them are quite old, you know, perhaps 10 years old, they've all had the little orange flexible symbol in the instructions. This one didn't. When you start putting the engines on, and they're not a bad reproduction if you like, I was at first thought these ain't going to be very secure. We've got a bolt and nut, of course, each side there, just inside there, through the wing, but at the other end all you've got to hold it in place is this plastic spacer fitted over there, pushed in to the bearing channel. It does hold quite well. It doesn't look like it was going to, but it is pretty good. One of two things, or really three I suppose, that slowed me down was fitting the nose cone and cockpit, and the same for the rear pointy bit, and my alteration to the tail itself. The tail's a separate thing altogether because I've modified that fair bit to get it to look better. The cockpit and nose cone is fitted quite simply as per the instructions really. There's a fish plate inboard both sides. Through here and through the fish plates, this side and that side, is a 1 1/8 inch bolt with a nylock nut. This is so you can move the whole cockpit and nose assembly up and down a little bit, just like the real thing. When it was taking off and landing, the nose would be down so they could see, and of course at high speed the nose would be up. Now the problem with this is, because these are hollow, even though there are strips inside for the main fuselage structure, here there's nothing, so it's very easy to start to crush the cylinder. What you find is that this is too loose and won't hold in position. More often than not it comes right up, almost sprung if you like, because it does overlap a little. So the more you tighten it up, the more crushed it got, and of course then it would still be loose. So I was again, time and time again, I was defeated. Even just a slight tweak, I wasn't getting anywhere. What I did do, and I hope you can see this, I think you may, yes you can just see, in there I did add some spacers. Now I'd already got some spares because I'd changed the colours of the ones in the rear of the engine. At the same time I took some spares anyway for just this. Now what it does, it means that you can't crush the cylinders, and it doesn't have to be very tight, just ever so slightly nipped up, just tight enough so it will still move but hold its position. The same really goes for the rear. The rear tail was quite awkward to do, or the rear pointy bit, and I did alter that from the instructions. In the end I copied the front really by putting fish plates inboard both sides. On this occasion I didn't put any spacers across, mainly because I hadn't got any with me, but I found that it was all okay. This one didn't seem to crush as easy and seemed to grip better. The main change to the model regards the tail itself. Now the original model more or less can be built as per the instructions. You might have a bit more fun trying to get the nose and that into the right position, same with the tail, but it does mean the plane is actually quite a way over to one side. It's fitted with angle brackets in the top and it's moved over. It's awful. Great from the side like it is now, or slightly lower angle. It's great, fine, no problem there, but when you look down the centre line of the fuselage, it is awful. With some of the other aircraft sets, like the Red Arrow's Hawk jet, the Spitfire, they've actually made an effort to get it central. But with this, it was absolutely awful. So, how do you get the tail plane itself to fit centrally, or more or less centrally? Well, it was quite a toughie, as you can appreciate. How do I secure something along the centre line of the fuselage to something that is side on to plates and strips? First thing to go are the angle brackets that held the original design together onto the fuselage. My first attempt, which failed, was to use those new plastic pushing, or fairly new, I actually said that they're probably a good 10 years old, the plastic pushing clips that you use on some sets there for steering pivots, and on some you put a rubber grommet at the end, others you don't. They're pretty lanky, to be honest. No good, although fairly long. These were pushed through these cylinders pointing upright. Then I tried the brand new clips that are a lot better fit, that you get in the 25 model Meccano Maker System Mountain Rally set. They almost worked, but they weren't long enough to grip hold of with the plates and strips. The benefit of those would have been that they're slightly narrower and would have fitted with a little less bowing of the strips, as you can see there at the bottom. So that was scrapped, and in the end I decided, right then, at that time with those plastic clips there was also a bolt up here. The bolt head was too rounded for the strips to grip, and every time you tightened it up they pull off. So what to do? What I did in the end was a variation of that. Two 12mm bolts, removing the front bolt that was there. Two 12mm bolts, one there, upside down. And the base strips of the tail are loose on the construction. Slot them on and tighten them up against the shaft of the bolts there. It does mean a slightly different angle to the top, because unlike the design of the instructions, this part is secured now, and this part inside it there, where in the instructions that wasn't the case, that was out a little bit. So it's slightly different there, but it's far better, as I'll show you. And there you have it. We're looking down the top of the fuselage to the tail. The original design, with the angle brackets holding it on, would have had the tail sat about there, and it was pretty awful. So there she is, folks, in all her beauty. A lovely plane, of course, one of the most iconic, if not, well, I suppose the Spitfire does it for me for obvious reasons, apart from it being beautiful. This is a fantastic, dare I say, it was a fantastic aircraft, and the model is a very good, impressive model of their aircraft. Don't want to blow my own trumpet, but with the tail fitted as it is, it's even better. Now, the build was in total, including the mod with the tail and the other tweaks, was about 4 3/4 hours. Initially I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hour build, but well, it doesn't hurt to take your time, I suppose, sometimes. The tail itself took about 1 1/4, 1.5 hours to sort out, literally trial and error, and of course that always takes time, because once you try something you've got to take it apart, or partly apart. The model, once it's been displayed, will go up on the ceiling with all the other flight models, but I need to remove the undercarriage and the tyres especially, because I need them. Here's a clue, and here's a bit more of a clue, and here's a bit more of a clue again. There's another clue, and another clue, and another clue. 2 more clues, 4 more clues, another clue for you, and lastly a word clue, and the word is fire flash. Now Keith knows, and all will hopefully be revealed, if it gets finished, at the next Telford and Armbridge Meccano Society meeting at Ingenuity, Coach Road, Colebrookdale, Shropshire, on Saturday the 7th of November. Bye for now, folks.